Premiership Rugby is back, folks, this weekend, potentially, with Bristol taking on Bath from Ashton Gate. I say potentially because with the passing of Queen Elizabeth, I would imagine there's a fairly good chance this game gets postponed or cancelled or something out of respect. I think I've seen Glasgow Warriors has already canned their pre-season game. Obviously, it's easier to can a pre-season game than an actual game, but it would not surprise me to see it get shifted. It's a really weird thing. I'm pretty far removed from it here in New Zealand, but man, it's still a Commonwealth country. She's been the Queen for way longer than I've been alive, and she's on all the money. It's weird. Very weird feeling when I saw that news this morning over here in NZ. So, we'll see what happens. So, assuming the game goes ahead, there are lineups out. We'll go through them. A few stats from some of the key players and predictions, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. It is on, like I mentioned, Ashton Gate. It's a 7:45 local kickoff in England. So for those of us in New Zealand, if I can get my words out, it's like a 6:45 a.m. kickoff. So if you're up early with your cup of coffee, couldn't be a better way to start the day. Well, you could have a better way to start the day, but it's a pretty decent one anyway. So for Bristol, they've got a few of their new names starting. They've got Ellis, Genge, Bryan, Byrne and Kyle Sinckler in their front row. So Ellis, Genge joining after a pretty successful season with the Tigers. It's going to be an interesting one to see him alongside Kyle Sinckler, who's back fit. It's a pretty mean-looking couple of English props, so at scrum time they'll be looking to back up. Joyce and Chris Vui in the second row. I mean, Chris Vui's been a phenomenal player for Bristol for a few years now, one of their top tacklers, one of their top offload guys, just a real skills merchant. And then Sam Jeffries, Jake Heenan and Magnus Bradbury make out the back row. Bradbury, one of the new signings, joining from kind of north of the border, so good to see him, but there's no Luatua, there's no Fitzharding, so they are looking a little bit depleted in the old back row, but Heenan's captain, so he'll be looking to put his hand up, in the absence of Luatua, and then Magnus Bradbury is an international, so we should expect him to kind of hit the ground running, essentially. Randall and Sheedy, the same 9-10 combo as we're kind of used to seeing from them last year. Pretty exciting duo. As far as 10s go, Sheedy's kind of one of your top offloading guys, so he is a really fun player to watch. Harry Randall loves a snipe. Bedlow and O'Connor at 12-13, so no Radradra. He is still... He's still getting back to full fitness, which is a pity. And then outside backs, Morahan, Lane, and then Piutau there at fullbacks. Now, if you're a Kiwi fan, tempted to get up to watch some rugby, well, Charles Piutau's at fullback. So there you go, a little bit of a familiar face there. But yeah, it's a pity some of the guys are up, but that's just kind of the way things go. Capon, Woolmore, Lahiff, front replacements, Ed Holmes, and then Sam Lewis, who's one of the new signings, making out the other forwards. Uren, MacGinty, and Bates in the back replacements. AJ MacGinty, his first game for the Bears as well. It's going to be interesting to see him duking it out with Callum, Sheedy throughout the season, but assuming Sheedy's in the Welsh squad, MacGinty should be pretty much guaranteed a good run through Six Nations time. So, we will see, man. It's always an exciting one to watch Bristol under Pat Lam, but 10th last season was way, way, way disappointing. So they'll be looking to certainly bounce back. Bath, speaking of disappointing, they finished last season. They didn't get relegated because they weren't doing relegation last year. But I'm pretty sure relegation's back on the cards, right? And then there's the Worcester situation, which is a weird one. If they're going to be in a financial position to keep going, still remains an unknown. So we will see. But either way, they got a new coach. Johan van Graan has joined from Munster. So Bath, man, they'll be wanting to do better than last year, which is, setting the bar low, but we will see, because, certainly a lot of ups and downs last year with the focus on the downs, unfortunately. Obano, Dunn, and Coetzee, that's the big Namibian, Arnos Coetzee, are in the front row, so good to see Obano back fit. He missed the end of last season, so that's tidy. I mean, Coetzee is a big unit. He's been around the block. Atwood and McNally in the second row. Remember, Charlie Yule's out with a knee injury for, I'm pretty sure, quite a long time, right? He did that at the end of last season. Bayliss, Kluter, and Coetzee. That's Jaco Coetzee in the back row. So Chris Kluter is another one who's joined from Munster. So he's a real fetcher, that guy. So yeah, he's going to add a bit of a threat. The breakdown, obviously, in the absence of Underhill. So good to see him there, getting in his first game. Ben Spencer is captain at 9. Scored a few tries. Last year he got like 5 tries, which is not bad. He generally looked really sharp in a losing team. And then new signing Piers Francis is there at 10. I'll be interested to see how many games he gets at 10 or what position they prefer him in, because he's a bit of a jack of all trades, old Piers Francis, and you got Orlando Bailey on the bench as well. So yeah, bit of a mixture. Good to see Cameron Redpath back in the 12 jersey. He's been out injured a wee bit. That guy just needs a good run. No injuries, eh? He's still a young guy, but since he kind of burst onto the scene for Scotland, he's spent a lot more time injured than he has fit. So fingers crossed he's all good. Will Butts there at 13. Hamer-Webb right wing, Matt Gallagher left wing, and then Tom de Glanville, who stats-wise last year was phenomenal. Run meters, defenders beaten, tries, offloads, like he just did the works. So another real excitement machine player at fullback. So Piutau up against de Glanville. It's a pretty exciting exciting prospect. Arnett boys, Yonker are the front row replacements. Spencer, Uren Richards are the forwards. Then new signing Lewis Schrader is there, the halfback. Really useful halfback, so good to see him there. Orlando Bailey and De Carpenter are there as well. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one. These two teams don't like each other that much, so lots to like about it, assuming it goes ahead. But yeah, we'll kind of just have to wait and see on that regard. Predictions wise, Bristol 10-point favourites with the bookies and 11-point favourites with the rugby forecast algorithm. So yeah, two of the teams that were a bit disappointing last year get a chance to go again and turn things around, assuming the game goes ahead. Happy to have the Premiership back either this week or next week or whenever. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon.